All right, well, happy Friday. Here we go. 4 5-step equations. The first one I'll do is 5 steps. The second two are 4-step. Shouldn't have any issue with this because all you need to do is follow your steps. You should be looking at this, and the problems I find with anybody who does this is they don't look at their steps. They don't look at how to distribute and look at the example, how to combine like terms and look at the example. Remove the extra variable. We're looking at the variable, not the extra numbers. So add and subtract, multiply and divide. Make sure that you're looking at this sheet, and if you don't know your lowest, you can take either one. It's going to be fine. If you take the wrong, not the wrong one, if you take the one that isn't less, you're going to end up with a negative number that you're going to have to divide by all the way through. Here's a number line to tell you what is greater and what is less. So start with this one. Of course, we're going to separate our problem from one side to the other because steps 3 through 5 will be what you do on one side, you do on the other. So first thing that we do there is that distribute. That's our first step. It says it right there on there, and that's the part with the parentheses and the number attached to the parentheses, not this one. So -7 times 1, and we put the 1 there. We're just looking at that part. -7 times 1 is -7, and it has an x, so you're going to want to put that down. Some of the mistakes I've been seeing is people not distributing to the next term. There could be 3 terms in there, 4 terms, 5 terms. There could be just 1 term, but there are 2 terms. You need to make sure that you multiply. So -7 times 4 is positive 28, because negative and a negative is positive. And then you just bring everything else down. That minus 4x equals the -37 plus 2x. And we have a whole new problem. Well, we want to deal with the next step of the problem, and that is combine like terms. So we look each side. And the same thing with distribute. We look at each side. There's nothing to distribute over here. Well, there might be distribute. It could happen. And there could be multiple sides with combining like terms. But we look at this side, and we happen to have a -7 with an x and a -4 with an x. So we're going to add those two together, and we're going to get -11x. And everything that's outside of those circles just needs to come down. So the plus 28, the equals the -37 plus 2x. Remember, if it seems like I'm going too fast for you, don't worry about that because you can rewatch these videos. All right, so our third step says remove the extra lowest variable. Well, we're looking at variables, not this one, not this one. We have -11x because that's a variable and plus 2x because that's a variable. So that's the numbers we're looking at. We're not looking at these. These don't have variables. That we're doing the next step. So we're looking at these two. The lowest is -11. If you look at your number line, -11 is right there and is right there at the least or lowest. And what was it? 2? 2 is way over here toward the greater. If you happen to subtract 2x from both sides, you're going to end up with a -13 on this side, as versus if you go this way and you add 11x, you're going to end up with a positive 13. And that's the reason why we take that lower variable. Those two are opposite operations. They're gone. Bring down the 28, the equals the -37. And since that's positive 13, we're going to put plus there. Need an operation. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and find out what is added or subtracted. So the 37 is added, the 13 is multiplied. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up adding 37 to both sides of the equation. And we're going to get 15, here's 65. And then these will be gone, they're opposite operations to get 13x. We're going to go ahead and now the last step, and we're going to divide by 13. I guess I could use a different color, but that's okay. So our answer then becomes 5. 65 divided by 13 is 5. All right. Excellent. 2 more problems we're going to do. Once again, you're going to separate your problems so that you know that steps 3 through 4 will be done. So we're going to go ahead and distribute, and 5 times -8 is -40. 5 times -2 is -10. Make sure that you multiply to each one that you're doing. Bring down everything else that is not being used. your next step is to combine like terms, but there's no terms here to combine. That's a P and a non-P, no terms here to combine. So we just skip the step. We don't need to do the step. So what we'll do is then go to the next step, which is remove the extra variable. Well, there's a variable there and there. We can see -10 and -7. Well, -10 happens to be the least. So we're going to add 10p to both sides of the equation. Our opposite operations are gone. We're left with -40 equals, well, -7 and 10 is 3p. We'll bring down that -25. And since p is positive, we're going to put a plus there. Move on to the next step. We're going to get rid of what's added or subtracted. Well, if I cover up my 3 there, you can see -25 plus p. If I cover up the 25, I'm seeing 3 times p. So you're going to want to take that 25. This all should be rhythm for you. You should know this. You shouldn't have to think at all about this. Opposite operations are gone. And -40 plus 25 would be -15. And then your final step is to go ahead and divide by the 3. We're left with p equals -5. Write that one more. Doing the same way. So what we're going to do is go ahead. We're going to get up there and we're going to do this distribution. And we want to do it to both of them in the inside. It could be 3 in there, could be 4 in there, could be just 1 in there, but we happen to have 2. So -8 times 1 is -p, -8p, -8 times 7 is -56. Bring down the equals, the -2p, the -38. And then we go to combine like terms. Well, guess what, guys? No combine like terms, no combine like terms. So we skip the step, we go and get rid of the extra variable. Well, those are my 2 variables. The lowest extra variable happens to be the -8. So I'm going to add 8p. And again, if you can't figure that out, which one's lower, you should be able to use that number line. If you can't, it doesn't matter which one you take, but you're going to end up with a negative number. So our opposite operations are gone. We're left with -56 equals, and then -2 plus 8 is 6. Don't lose your p. Make sure p comes back in there. Bring down your 38. Next step here is get rid of its added or subtracted. Well, the 6 is attached to the p, so we know that's not it. So we're going to be, and if I cover up the 6, you can see p minus 38. So we're going to add 38 to both sides of the equation. We're going to end up with 6p equals, and what do we get here? 38 and 56. So 56 minus 38 gives us 18. Bickety bam, we're good there. So we're going to divide by that 6, and p equals 2. Okay, there you go. If you have any questions, I won't be here on Friday, so you make sure that you get that done and just rewatch the videos. All right, thanks. Bye. Have a good weekend. Be safe.